Humans on the cardboard. Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we're looking at the final Amazonas card from Duelist of Pyroxene here. We're going to go through this card and then I'm going to give you my final thoughts overall about the Amazonas support here. Overall, yeah. Alright, let's jump into this. This is Amazonas Warrior Chief, a level 5 Earth Warrior monster, 1900 attack, 0 defense, and 2 hard ones per turn effects. First effect reads, if you control no monsters or all monsters you control are Amazonas monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. Not bad at all. This can either be a starter before you even have to commit to the field, or an extender before you have to commit the field, or after you've put Amazonas monsters up. Definitely pretty spicy there. Don't love that it has to be all Amazonas. I wish it said, like, if you have no monsters or you control an Amazonas monster, because then if you get nibbed or something, I don't know, some example like that where you get nibbed or your opponent kaijus you or something, you're like kind of just stuck with another awkward monster, this card can be locked out of extending for you. But still, pretty good extender, all things considered. Second effect, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can set one Amazonas spell or trap or one Polymerization directly from your deck. Also, you can only attack with Amazonas monsters for the rest of the turn. Pretty solid. This card's an extender that also sets you any spell or trap or Polymerization in the archetype. That's pretty freaking good, all things considered. Looking at this card. Now, there's a couple points to definitely make here is... this now becomes by far and away the best card of the new cards from Duelist of Pyroxene. 2, Amazonas Princess becomes a 1-card, a sold plus a follow-up, because you literally are going to go Amazonas Princess, grab probably Call, I think, and then Call would grab her, and then she could just jump out of the hand and then set you either something like a Willpower or just another Call, so you can search another follow-up on the next turn. Pretty solid. And then you go into Isold from there. We know Isold pretty much represents a 1-card combo, and if you have the right, engine requirements in your deck and extra deck. Which is pretty good. That actually does give this deck a little bit of extra oomph there, but the deck just doesn't do enough on its own. I love the engine. I actually think the engine still is now even better, because out of the new cards, you have like this card and you have the other good extender where it like bounces a face-up Amazonas to summon herself, and then she searches a poly. Her downside is she only searches Polymerization. She doesn't search anything else, so... when we talk about fusion-based decks, they either need to have some busted mechanic where they all float when they're used as fusion material to get you a +1, or you need to have a busted fusion spell in the deck, and this deck has neither at the moment. And so it just doesn't do efficient fusion summons like we would prefer. Secondly, this deck has no win condition. I think that's overall the biggest draw I'm taking from everything here. The deck just has no real win condition. What is the win condition? The fusion boss monsters all suck asshole. Horrible. They're all garbage. There's one that like can summon an Amazonas monster from the deck, but like what are you summoning from the deck that's really impactful for you? It's like, and that one fusion monster requires a fusion monster's material. So you had to like fuse already and then fuse again. You're just throwing so many resources into that one fusion, and then on field it literally gives you like one okay protection effect, and you get to summon one Amazonas monster from the deck. But if you got that far anyway in one turn, it means you probably went through all the relevant Amazonas monster effects you could, and so like you're just sitting there like, okay, now we just have like a board that says we can't be destroyed by battle. That's it with 2 Chunguses. Absolutely horrible, absolutely garbage. The biggest draws for me is I want to see some way to interrupt the opponent. Ideally for me, if we could get 3 cards of Amazon support, and it would like skyrocket this deck, in my opinion, to just like being an actual solid rogue contender. One, I'd want to see 1 to 2. Well, let's say, okay, so if it was a really, really good one, we could see 1 fusion monster that could like literally take this deck to the next level. Like if it was just good, because it would make your Princess, which you technically play like 7 copies of, like a one card fusion play, right? You go normal summon it, search call search this girl, summon her. She sets either Poly or the Amazoness fusion spell, and then you can either fuse on your opponent's turn or Poly right there into a fusion that actually has an interruption effect. That's the first thing. Second thing, maybe an Amazoness Link 2 that gets you like I keep saying it, but like the Ancient Warriors Link 2 is like is just like pure power creep in Yu-Gi-Oh! Right? It shows you a perfect example. On summon, it gets you a free card, and it's just an interruption. Like, that would be huge, because again, Princess would be a 1 card that, plus another Amazoness card set. And the last thing would be like an actual good interruptive Amazoness trap card. Onslaught's not actually, it's still not bad, but it's too, and I get it, the gimmick of the deck is it's battle phase dependent, but I think at the end of the day, if you're going to have a set like this, where it's realistically like, if somebody doesn't care about Leo and his Morphtronic cards, if somebody doesn't care about, Mayan or Amazoness cards, and somebody doesn't care about Shizu and her Earth Fairy cards, they will, like, a player will literally have nothing to get from this set. No reason to buy this set. I don't think any of these 3 archetypes really so far are ringing like, actual meta, situation. I mean, in the last set, we have Sharks, legit rogue deck, Marine Cess, crazy Green Cess support, actually becoming a legit rogue deck, and even the Umi stuff, even though it's more casual, actually does some powerful things and can steal some wins. So, like, there's so much more potential there. It just feels like when you have Amazoness support like this, that is not really taking the deck to a next level, aside from just doing worse Isolde shenanigans than other warrior decks like Goki, like, what's the point? What's really the point? Other than that, like a new fusion spell that's like actually good, like maybe if it could banish, Amazoness monsters from grave or send from deck, like obviously that's insane, and that would be so much more resource efficient. And I would say a main deck boss monster, Power Creep Queen. Make a new version of Queen that says her name counts as Queen at all times, and she's everything. I've made a video in the past talking about what main deck boss monsters need to be good in Yu-Gi-Oh! They need to have a good extension effect from the hand, so that like now that becomes a searchable extender and jumps on the field relatively easily. Secondly, it needs to have a disruption effect. I don't care what it is. If it's a quick effect pop, quick effect negate, quick effect banish, I don't care. It needs to have an interruption. And then for this deck, I would be happy with that. But if they want to give it one more bonus effect, maybe like a cool battle phase effect, if it destroys something, it can attack again, helps you apply pressure in the battle phase. I would take that overall. But deck doesn't have a win condition. Still doesn't have a win condition. It's awful. I do think the core now is just a little bit better because of Warrior Chief, because of the other one. I think it might be Shaman. It like bounces a face-up Amazoness card to summon itself, and then it can search a Poly. Fine. The fusion spell is not great, but it is a quick effect fusion spell that you can get access to pretty easily. So like that's not the worst thing in the world. And yeah, I think that's mainly it for I guess the pendulum cards are like funny, but not great. They're definitely not great. But yeah, I think more so I'm looking at this like the core of Amazoness is a little bit better, a little bit more robust, but they still don't have a win condition. But if they gave us 3, 4, maybe 5 cards and they hit those points, like an actual good fusion monster, a good main deck boss monster that's kind of just like a new version of Queen, maybe a good new Poly card, maybe a Link 2, and an interruptive trap card that's just better than Onslaught. You'd still probably play Onslaught at 1 because it is a powerful card, especially if like you're in a grind game, you just get that card in rotation. That can be insanely strong. But maybe an actual good interruptive trap card would also be really good, because that would also mean that Princess could go Princess get Chief. Chief set the new interruption, and then like worst case scenario, you got 2 monsters on the field that, with a interruption. I don't know. It's simple, but it's like it's something. The deck literally doesn't even do that. The deck does not make interruption. So that's all I want. Yeah, it's awful. But this card's good. Sorry about the rant. This card's really cool. If you made it this far, definitely subscribe to the channel. I make videos like this all the time, ranting on certain cards and talking about what archetypes need. But let me know your thoughts down below on Amazoness after this support and what you think they need from your opinion. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down below. I'm out of here. Sorry this took so long for one card. Hopefully you got the review at least at the very beginning, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.